Today we're discussing a video about how the suburbs are ruining your mental and physical health.
I'm not a talkative person. I was always the quiet one at school and among my friends, and I'm just not the kind of person to strike up a conversation with someone, especially strangers.
I used to be like this in middle school and then a little bit of high school, but honestly what made me come out of my shell was when I started actually working a job. I've said, my experiences for working in retail, working in retail does suck, but it actually forced me to come out of my shell when I first got my first job in working in retail. And ever since then, I've definitely become more of an outgoing, more talkative person. I can still be very quiet, but now I'm more likely to actually go out of my way to say hi to somebody, or if somebody's talking to me, I'm not I'm at awkward or panicking or something like I used to be. And I used to be one of those people who oh man, I hate small talk. I hate talking about the weather, blah, blah, blah. It's I get it, but small talk is how you meet people. Unfortunately, when you go up to somebody you've never talked to, you can't just start talking about one of your latest fixations just randomly. That's not really how it works in most situations. When you go up to somebody you've never talked to, usually small talk is how you break the ice and kind of get to know that person before you start talking about more other shit you're into. It's rare where you can just walk up to a stranger and be like, hey, I'm really into this thing, what about you? Because they're gonna look at you weird. But that's just me.
Hey, what's your name? Hey, wait, come back.
What's important?
I mean, that's an example of how not to do it. Obviously, it was just a joke, but you don't go up to somebody and be like, hey, what's your name? Hey. It's fucking weird. There is a tact to it, and it's just learned by experience.
Important to recognize that
Social cues, if you would.
being social is crucial for our mental health and well-being, no matter how quiet or introverted you are.
100% facts. That is facts. There's some people out here who think it's cool to be alone or not have friends and shit like that. Don't listen to those people, man. Meeting people and having friends is extremely important to your mental health and just the human experience in general. Nobody's meant to exist and live by themselves their entire life. That shit is sad.
Factor in improving life satisfaction is not money, nor is it 饭吃炒鸡蛋. It's social connection.
Yes, bro. I've never watched any of this dude's videos, but I'm already fucking with him with his opinions on shit.
Well-connected people can live on average 15 years longer. That's why it's important that we design our cities to foster social trust.
Yeah, that's true. Having friends is the most important things in life. Friends and family, there's nothing more important than that, man. I'm telling you right now.
And bring people together. Urban design plays a huge role in how socially connected we are. Unfortunately, most of the US and Canada are built in a way that isolates people.
Bro, I'd be thinking about this shit myself. It sucks that you can't go out and just walk places, you know what I mean? Or bike places unless you live in very specific cities, and even then it's kind of hard. Living in the suburbs and not in a city, you need a car. You can't go anywhere without a car. And sometimes I just wish I could just walk out of my house and just go see a movie or just shopping or anything and not have to get in a car and drive somewhere, man. It's so depressing.
Cool.
I love riding a bike, but I haven't ridden a bike to places in a long time. I used to do it all the time when I was younger, but now it's just driving everywhere. I would love to be able to just hop on a bike and go somewhere. That should be amazing.
Suburbs were originally designed to make us happy. Back in the day, downtowns were smelly, dirty old places full of poop and pollution. So we decided, hey, why not just separate the places we live from the places we work and shop? Made sense, right?
I mean, on paper, it does make sense, but we see how that turned out.
Well, maybe it did back then, but nowadays most people don't work in dirty factories anymore, and we now have super toilets. It's been several decades since suburbs were in.
When I was a kid, when I was younger, I used to want to live in a place that looked like this, where it's all these houses and close together and stuff like that. Because think of all of your neighbors. You can actually go and meet your neighbors and have fun. But now I'm more of I'm in the middle. I want to live in more of a city area where I can just go out and do shit and not have to drive a car everywhere. It's hard, man. But I also not being in a city and having that fresh air. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a catch-22.
Invented, and we now know that this segregated style of living makes us less happier. because they socially isolate people. You live here, work here, and shop over there, all while driving in a secluded vehicle in between. But these places are too dangerous to be outside a vehicle anyways. They lack pedestrian safety features, bike infrastructure, and public transit. While filming this video, I walked across this terrifying bridge that
Yeah, bro. When I was younger, like I used to just like go places and shit, whatever. And I would try to. I would be there was moments where I'd be in a situation like right here in this video. I'm like, man, what the fuck? Like I'd be riding my bike or whatever, but like I gotta pay attention to the cars on the highway or whatever next to me, and I'd be scared as shit sometimes. Like at any moment, I could get destroyed by one of these cars. It's awful.
went over the busiest highway in North America. I was right beside 6 lanes of high-speed traffic, and cars were constantly driving into this highway ramp, making it nearly impossible to cross. It was loud.
And then they make you feel like the asshole because you're like there on the bike. It's like they definitely need to improve like the bike lanes and shit in general out here, man.
Loud, windy, and just a very uncomfortable place to be in.
It's horrifying, bro.
I'm glad I made through it without ending up in the graveyard, but it's sad to think that there are people who have no choice but to walk through this death sentence on a regular basis just to get to where they need to go. This is a 12-lane highway that cuts the city in half, and the only way to safely get across is to either drive or wait for this crappy bus that constantly gets delayed. But who cares about poor people anyways? For my own...
Yeah, I feel like we could also improve our transit systems. I think that would be another huge thing. Like maybe we can't exactly change, the suburbs and the cities and kind of combine them or whatever overnight. But I feel like a good way to improve that or circumvent that is to improve our public transit systems. Like if it was just easier for people to get on a bus or on a train or whatever and get to where they're going, and you didn't necessarily have to have a car. That alone would be a huge improvement.
Experience, most people that I know who either live or grew up in suburbs are just really quiet or reserved people. And look, that includes me, alright? But when you look at this inhumane environment that makes up most of our cities, is it really surprising that kids are not playing outside all day like they used to back in the day?
I don't know if that's... I get what he's saying, but I don't know if that's true necessarily, because it was like this when I was growing up and other people growing up, and like we still went out and hung out with friends and things like that. Sure, it wasn't as it was still just as hard to get to places when you're a kid, obviously without a car, but we still went outside and had a good time. So I don't know if that's exactly connected, but I could see it in some way. Yeah, I could definitely see it in some way, but I wouldn't 100% put it that way.
At this point, many people might say, well, it ain't that bad. I talk to my friends at church every Sunday and see my neighbor Kimberly all the time. And that's great. It's totally possible to live a social life in the suburbs, but these places are inherently designed to isolate you. So if you're like me and you're not a social butterfly, you have to go out of your way to make social connections rather than it coming naturally. Cities that are designed to be mixed-use and walkable have a direct impact on social trust in a community. A 2011 psychology study strapped participants to bracelets that would detect excitement and arousal.
Honestly, I feel like I don't know if this is like a weird take, but I feel safer when I feel safer going out at night or just in general going out when I'm around a lot of people in like a city environment. But like at night when I am in the suburbs or whatever and I'm going outside and there's not a lot of people, it feels spookier, you know what I mean?
They had the participants walk through several blocks in lower Manhattan with various streetscapes, and they found that in this block of messy, rundown stores and restaurants, the participants were happier and felt safer than here. A new modern street beside a building with pristine windows.
Because in those other places, you're more likely to meet like people who are actually going to talk to you, or someone will come up talk to you, and you feel more comfortable in an environment. When you're in like an environment like this, where it's like more just like business out, like things like this, there's no small mom and pop shops or anything like that. It doesn't feel like there's a sense of community there. I think that's probably why.
Now, is it possible that all these participants just so happened to come across a very attractive man or woman at this exact location? Probably not. This is New York we're talking about. But this is just...
All right, bro, come on. You ain't have to do New York like that. Come on, bro.
Is one of many other studies that came to the same conclusion. Lively, complex urban environments make us feel happier, safer, and more compassionate towards other people.
100%.
In fact, a follow-up study had volunteers act like lost tourists in Seattle, and the results were basically the same. People here were more likely to help than here. In his book Happy City, Charles Montgomery wrote, as suburban retailers begin to colonize central cities, block after block of bric-a-brac and mom-and-pop steel buildings and shops are being replaced by blank, cold spaces that effectively bleach street edges of conviviality.
Yeah, you definitely need, like I said, it's the mom and pop shops, all the local spots like that. That adds so much to like meeting people and having a good time when you go out, as opposed to like these big corporate industrial restaurants and things like that.
Corporate big box stores and malls with giant parking lots are detrimental for communities. They destroy local businesses and sterilize the area of any substance.
Yeah, it looks awful. Like, have you ever been to like, I mean, of course, like when you drive past like a something like this, a large parking lot, and it's like at night or something, or it's closed, and it's just a big empty parking lot. There's something about it that just feels like, I don't know, awful. I don't like it. I don't know how to explain the feeling, but it's not necessarily the fear I have, but I don't like seeing large empty parking lots. There's something off-putting about it.
And spaces like this with no complexity and liveliness makes us feel uneasy.
There it is, exactly what he just says. I don't know why it makes it feel uneasy, but it does.
Vulnerable and consequently less happy. As Winston Churchill once said, we shape our buildings and afterwards our buildings shape us. Speaking of being in shape, most Americans are not. The average adult needs at least 30 minutes of daily exercise, and when you live in a city that encourages active transportation such as walking, cycling, or pogo sticking, everyone will get the benefits of daily exercise just by going about their business each day.
Yeah, that's another thing. I like walkable cities are huge. I don't know. One day I want to live in a walkable city. I don't know where, if that's going to be in the US or somewhere else. Who knows what the future holds, but I want to be able to live in a spot where I don't need to own a car, because driving is cool, but I don't feel like driving all the time when I want to go out, man. It sucks.
Cities like Amsterdam, where almost half of all trips are made.
Like, this is cool to me, like mad people on bikes just going about their daily life. Like, I want to live somewhere where something like this is possible and it's considered normal, and there's places where there's space for the people to, you know, to ride their bikes and still drive a car, and it'd be absolutely normal, man.
By bicycle.
I'm actually extremely jealous looking at this right now.
Are among the most physically active places in the world, because when walking and cycling are safe and convenient.
Like, look at this. Look at their bike lane. It's safe. I feel like this is something I wish existed in the US, just everywhere. This shit ain't fair, man. Fuck.
Ways of getting around, you're gonna get your daily allowance of exercise just by going to work. Nobody's getting any exercise in a place like this. The US and Canada are among the least active countries in the world and have the highest obesity rates and lowest number of daily steps. Of course, walkability is not the sole reason why so many Americans are obese, but it certainly doesn't help when walking here sometimes feels like you're committing a crime.
Bro, that's the perfect way to put it. Like I said earlier, when I was younger, I would like, you know, I had experiences where I was, you know, walking across the highway just like this. And I definitely felt like what I was doing was kind of like against the rules. Like, you shouldn't be walking on a sidewalk on a highway. It just felt weird, because like, how often do you walk down something like this as an adult? And when you're doing it, it's like, man, I don't feel safe doing this at all. I feel like I'm being judged by all the cars walking past me. I thought I was getting in my own head.
It's just really sad how bad urban design hinders your ability to live a naturally active lifestyle. Nobody should have to commit to and purchase a gym membership or expensive equipment just to maintain a base level of health. As city planner Jeff Speck said,
the fact that we have a society where you drive to the parking lot to take the escalator to the treadmill shows that we're doing something wrong.
This forced...
Bro, I never thought about that. That shit is fucking true. Holy shit. That's crazy, bro. We got to get that home gym or something, man.
There's many people who live in car-centric neighborhoods to have to drive somewhere just to take a walk. Then we get this
Yes, that's crazy. Like, this is blowing my mind. I've never thought about how you actually have to get in your car to drive somewhere to walk. Like, Bro, I'm at a loss for words. This is a good video, making some really good points.
Absurd phenomenon known as mall walkers, where
I've heard about
you
these.
literally just drive to the mall every morning to take a walk because the outside environment is so hostile.
I heard about like, you know, older people doing that. They just go to the mall and like walk around because it's dangerous outside. I couldn't imagine being like, you know, being elderly and like just want to go for a walk and you feel unsafe in your own neighborhood, you know, type shit because it's just how it's planned.
I walk the shopping malls. I start where I parked my car. I get out of the car and I
Why is she yelling at me, bro? Calm down.
close the door.
You can blink, bro. What is this? What's up with her?
Do some warm-ups.
Being forced to drive everywhere because there are no viable alternatives is also really bad for your mental health. A survey done during the pandemic asked people whether or not they missed their commute to work, and unsurprisingly, most people who walked or cycled said they did, while most drivers did not.
Yeah, because sitting in fucking traffic on your way to a job you fucking hate sucks. You know, maybe if I had like riding your bike and you actually get some scenery and exercise, then the commute wouldn't be that bad. But oh my God, I hate fucking sitting in traffic on my way to my job that I don't even care, that I don't even want to go to in the first place, bro. It's just like, God damn it.
Because suburbs are so car dependent and everything is so far apart, commute times are really long, and this is made worse by traffic, which is usually bad because
Just looking at this picture is giving me a fucking headache. Oh my goodness, I hate it. I hate it so much.
there's no other option than driving. This study found that longer commute times and more time spent waiting in traffic are associated with a higher risk of depression than
Absolutely,
those
I can
who
see
walk,
that.
cycle, or take transit. This is not even mentioning the effects of noise and air pollution caused by excessive car traffic. Active transportation in general
Bro, that was triggering me just now. The horn, the alarm and shit, and him just walking. Oh my God, I hate it.
is better for your mood and stress. But sitting in a metal box for hours while being stuck in traffic and waiting at red lights constantly
Bro, this is me on the daily right here. Not on the phone, of course. Don't use your phone and drive, people. Come on now.
just sucks, even if you're a car enthusiast. And when everyone is forced to do this every day just to do basic tasks like grocery shopping, you're gonna get a lot of angry and miserable people on the road. Over half of all fatal collisions in the
Damn.
US are caused by aggressive driving. Road rage is a huge issue in North America, so much so that they even made a TV show based on it. Meanwhile, in cities that make cycling
Damn, what the fuck is that? Is that a bus? A trolley? That shit looks so futuristic.
or transit's fast, convenient, and safe, most people won't drive, meaning the people who do are the ones that actually want to or need to. This creates a better experience for everyone. And even though
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If we had a better planned city, I wouldn't be driving unless I absolutely had to. You know, maybe it's like a weather thing or whatever. But if I had the option to not drive, I could walk somewhere or ride a bike somewhere. I would take that option every time, every single time.
that do drive probably still walk, cycle, or take transit from time to time, making them more sympathetic and safer drivers. Because if all you do is drive your giant, massive, gas-guzzling Ford F-150 across Houston every day, you're probably more likely to vote for Joe Biden than to care about some person walking. Because cities are places where people live and work, places
He's pushing his agenda.
that we spend our entire lives in. So it's crucial that we build healthy and enjoyable spaces to be in. Car-centric cities are soul-crushing and miserable, even for drivers. Having viable alternatives benefits everyone, not just the people who use them. The
100%,
detrimental
man.
impacts of these ugly places cannot be overlooked. These are places no one wants to be in nor cares about at all, and yet many are forced to put up with them, and they have significant
And you would think, at least in the suburbs, the places that were designed to make us more, you know, happy, you think even in that would have like way better infrastructure to get around without needing a car. But it's like, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. Oh my God.
consequences on us all. But it doesn't have to be this way. Cities can be designed to be attractive and welcoming and safe places for all. They can be places that encourage being active and making social connections.
You know, I heard this is why people like visiting Japan so much, or like when Americans go to Japan for the first time and they see like you can actually walk around and do stuff and you don't need a car, that it blows their mind. It's like you're living in the US your entire life and you're just so used to one thing, and you go somewhere, it's like, wait, I can just leave my house and go to the grocery store and not have to sit in traffic for 40 minutes. Oh my God.
As long as we have the political will, it is totally possible to make places that aren't depressing. If we truly care about building a society that benefits the people, we can no longer be building cities that prioritize the automobile.
This is my first time watching a video from this guy, like I said, and it was actually phenomenal. He brought up some really good points and just some things I never really thought about. I'm gonna leave the link to his channel in my description box below. Check it out, and thanks for watching.